This is Clyde and his week 1 recap. Hi, good boy. Oh, good job. All right, so this week, starting off our training, we wanted to start with some toy play. We want to make sure that training stays fun. So after we do a few behaviors, we're going to bring out our flirt pole again and see if he wants to engage with some play. Buddy, you have loved this thing all week. What's happening? Yeah. Oh my goodness. I will say, all week he has been obsessed with this toy. He loves taking the breaks to get a little play in. Right now he must be very hungry because he knows that I'm the treat lady. And he's just staring at me waiting for a snack. Here, what this? Oh, good boy. Get it. Yeah, good boy. So flirt poles are super nice, especially for puppies of this age where they tend to be a little bit mouthier. Very normal behavior for puppies, but this is nice because my hands are up here away from the mouthy end of the puppy. So Clyde gets to play with the toy down there while I kind of flirt the toy around, dance it for him to see if he wants to bite onto it, chew it, tug it, whatever he wants to do. Good boy. So when I feel that Clyde has a good grip on that toy, I'm just going to give some opposite pressure in the other direction. I don't want to drag him across the room with this toy, but I do want him to feel that pressure, so he wants to chew and tug harder on that. Good boy, buddy. Yeah. Oh, good job. I'll let him win that one more time, and then we'll get started. What a good boy. Yeah, I knew you liked it. You do like this toy. Yeah, thank you. So when it's time to win, I'm going to wait for him to let it go, and then I'll just take the toy away and we'll get started. So first thing that we needed to introduce to the puppies this week is what's called our reward marker. Why are you hiding behind me? So with the reward marker, I am using a clicker. Good boy. First thing we have to do is what's called charging our clicker. I'm simply going to click that clicker and then hand Clyde a piece of food. Are you still chewing? Good boy. Now, what is the point of a reward marker? We're going to use it to capture the moment that our puppies offer us the behavior that we asked for. So a sit is an easy enough example. As soon as his butt is on the ground, his front 2 paws are on the ground, that is the picture that we want to capture. So that is what we're going to click, and then we're going to feed him his piece of food. Now your click is a promise. I am promising that food is following. In the beginning stages, if you accidentally click, make sure to follow it up with a piece of food. You accidentally charged your clicker. All right, Bub, let's do that one more time. Good job, sir. All right, next thing I want to do is charge what's called my release word. Okay. Similar to how we charge that clicker. I'm not using the clicker for this though. I'm showing Clyde that I have food. Okay. And then tossing that food off to the side as I say my word. Okay. Okay. Good job, buddy. Now, I chose the word okay. You guys can stick with that word if you'd like, or you're welcome to change it. If you do end up changing it, make sure you do this step over again of charging your new word so he learns what his release word is. Okay. Good boy, buddy. And then the next thing I want to practice with him is a little name game exercise. Okay. Clyde. Yeah, good boy. He turns around so fast either way. But the name game exercise we're working on right now is called the flying cookie game. I'm going to toss a cookie as far as he's able to find it for now. Okay. Clyde. He's so quick about just turning around. My goal is that he's going to go eat that food, and before he turns around, I want to call his name. That way I can see that when you hear your name, you turn towards the sound of your name. Now the moment I'm clicking is when he gives me that recognition. What's this? Okay. Clyde. Good job. So that one he's a little bit slower about turning around, which is good. That's a good way to practice. Notice how I didn't say his name again. So if my puppy doesn't listen the first time, I'm not going to keep repeating their name over and over. Instead, I might make those kissy noises like I did. I could say puppy, puppy. Okay, Clyde. Or clap my hands, get his attention, because the reason he's ignoring us is because something else more exciting is happening over here. So I need to get more exciting than whatever that is. The other thing we could do if our puppies aren't listening, get that food right in front of their face, and as soon as they turn towards us, that is when we'll click and feed. Okay? All right, good boy. Let's take a break, see if you'll play. Good job, sir. Oh, wow, good shake. Oh my gosh, you love it. You love it. Yeah, that's a good shake, buddy. Wow. Oh, you let go. Ready? Yeah, good boy. So that slow little snaky movement of the flirt pole is what really got his attention there. So I wanted to really kind of entice him to come and chew on this toy. Good boy, sir. Wow, you got good shakes. Got good shakes. And then as soon as he lets go again, I will take that win. Oh, thank you. And we're going to move on. Good job, bud. All right, so the next thing I want to work on with him is going to be following a food lure. Watch out, little guy. So the way that we hold the food for that, I want to have a flat palm, and then my thumb is going to cover that food. This way I can turn the food around and really move my hand without fear of this food falling. My goal is that I'm going to show Clyde that I have that food in my hand. Once he's licking it and he's attached to it, then I'll make some movements. Good boy. So that was a good circle to follow the food. Good job, sir. Re-engage him. Yeah, I have the food in my hand. What a good boy, Clyde. Yeah. And at this stage, we're not really taking too many steps across the room, really building that connection and teaching him that if he stays connected with this hand, he's going to get that food reward. This will really come in handy when you guys start to practice any type of leash skills. Good boy, sir. So doing the basic following a food lure, I now want to do it but paired with his name. Clyde. Good, and that's just another way to practice some name recognition. Clyde. Good job. Clyde. Very good boy, buddy. Yeah. All right, and the next behavior we're going to work on is what's called our hand target. Now, the hand target is a movement exercise, so I do want to get him up and out of a sit or a down, or even if he's just standing here, I want him to follow me. Touch. Good boy. So I'm going to hold my food the same way I just did to follow that food lure. Once he is connected, so he knows the food is there, he wants it, I'm going to take my hand away. Touch. Good. And the goal is that he's going to follow that food hand, and as soon as I feel his nose, that is what I'm clicking, and then I'm just releasing that food in my hand to him. I want to make sure I practice it with both hands. Touch. Good boy. Sometimes I find people only practice with their dominant hand, and then you have a puppy who doesn't want to offer it with that other hand. Touch. Good boy. All right, sir. Okay. So like I said, the hand target is a movement exercise. We want the puppies to get up and get going. I really like to use this one as a focus and engagement. Now you're chewing on your food still. So say we go somewhere, we're in a new space. I might ask Clyde for a few hand targets first to make sure I have his focus, I have his attention. Once he's focused on me, because I have the food, I'm the one paying out, then we might continue into whatever we're doing. Good boy, Bubby. The hand target's also a really nice informal recall. So if we don't want to use our formal recall word yet because the puppies don't know it, they might not respond to it, I'm going to ask my dog for a hand target. Hand targets are so fun. Dogs usually love them, and they're going to run from across the room to offer that hand target. Good boy. Oh my gosh. So again, taking a little toy break just to break up the training with some fun. I want him to enjoy training. Good boy. Yeah. Oh my gosh. You have such a good grip on that. Good boy, Clyde. Thank you. Good job. All right, let's set some cookies up. The next thing I want to work on is the beginning stages of our position changes. So we're going to work on sits first. Now with this, food is going to start at nose level, and I'm going to kind of come up and back to encourage him to kind of slide back and go onto his butt. Good boy, sir. Sit. Good job. A follow-up cookie for staying in that nice position. Okay. And then that final cookie to release him from his position. Oh, are you still very playful? Yeah, these are some bigger pieces. Sit. Good. So click and feed the initial position. That was a large piece. He's being lazy getting back into that down. I'm going to feed him, though, in position. So try to get him, good boy, back up into this sit. Okay. Good job, sir. So while it's cute that he laid into that down, that's not the behavior that we're working on. So if that happens, just take that food and come up. Yes, good boy. That was a very good sit. Okay, good job, buddy. So he just did a really nice example of getting into a sit from a stand and also getting into a sit from a down. Oh, that's the furnace. Sit. Good job, mister. You are doing very well with this. Yeah, very good boy. Keep chewing. Okay. Good job, handsome man. All right, we are flying through things. The next thing I want to work on is going to be our stationary behavior, which is the mat. So teaching step 1, I'm going to put that mat down, encourage him to get 4 paws over. As soon as he's over on this mat, I'll click and then drop the food directly onto the mat itself. I then will come in with a follow-up cookie for him staying on the mat, and then a final cookie to release him. Clyde, come to your mat. Good boy. I fumbled with the clicker there for a second. That happens. Good boy. I love that you put yourself in a down. Yeah. So now this is a good example of why we feed the food directly onto the mat itself. By me luring that food down onto the mat, he is encouraged to slide into this nice down. Good boy. Okay. And then I'm going to pick that mat up and move it off to a different spot. This is really going to encourage him to find the mat from whatever point he's at in the room. Go to your mat. Good boy, Clyde. Good. So that rep, now that we're at the end of the week, I love that you're doing that, buddy. I want to try to get him into a sit first before I click and feed him. So that next week, the expectation when he comes to his mat is that he automatically sits down. Which this is actually the end behavior, him laying down on the mat. So if he wants to offer this instead, I will gladly take it. Okay. Good job, bub. Let's move that mat one more time, right? Yeah, you're so excited. You're so excited. Go to your mat. Hey. Good boy. Goodest boy. And notice how when I got him into that sit position, I'm not using any verbal cues. With the mat, the only thing I want you guys to have to say is mat, or place or bed, whatever you choose to say. I don't want you guys to have to say, go to your mat, lay down, stay there, don't move. The end expectation is going to be that he does this. He's gonna lay on his mat and he's gonna stay there until we release him. It's okay that he got up. He didn't leave the mat. Okay. But if he were to have left his mat, I would have cued that with an oops or an uh-oh. I would have lured him back onto this mat, and I'm not going to feed him. So don't feed him when he breaks the position. You're just reinforcing that he left the mat on his own. I would get him back on the mat, stand yourself up, take a second, and then release him. Good boy, buddy. All right, what do you think? Let's play for a second. Good job, Bubba. Good boy. So the mat is going to be super important for if you guys want him to have that nice stay. Beginning steps to his stationary behavior, you're going to practice with the mat. It gives him a nice place to focus on where to be. I really love to use my mat for when I'm cooking in the kitchen or if I have to unload the dishwasher. I don't want my dogs' help, so I will have them stationed on the rug in the kitchen, and then they know that that is where they stay until I give them permission to leave. Another great way to use the mat is if you guys want to take him places. So if you want to go to a coffee shop or you want to take him to dinner with you, you're going to want to use your mat as a nice place for him to station and be while you guys can kind of disengage and enjoy your coffee, enjoy your meal. That is very far down the road, but goals. If you guys have big goals of him doing things like that, we need to focus and really work on that behavior. Wow, good boy. My gosh. Okay, thank you. Good job, Bubba's. All right, I think we're gonna do our handling next, and then we'll finish with your harness. Good boy, Bubba. So body handling, cooperative care, very, very important for these types of dogs and any dog, but these ones especially because he's going to be going to the groomer for the rest of his life. Typically, this kind of dog is going to go to the groomer every 6 to 8 weeks. Hey, what's this? Let's play with the food, not my hand. Okay. So you want him to be comfortable with being handled in different ways. Get it? So this is the beginning stages of getting him used to being handled. I'm going to have the food in one hand, and my other hand is going to do the touching. Where are you going? Yes, good boy. So my goal is going to be that he kind of stays relatively still. So he's going to focus on this food, and if he wants to be straight, I guess that's fine. Yes, good boy. So my hand is sliding down his back and then tucking under his tummy. Yes. Now I'm not squeezing, but I am applying some light pressure under his belly. That is going to be the baby restraint for puppies. Yes. So getting them used to having something under their belly, someone supporting them and keeping them relatively still. Ideally, the more we practice this, he won't need that type of restraint. He will learn that, okay, I stay still, things happen, and then I get some cookies and I'm done. Oh my gosh. The next thing I work on is lifting their tail. Yes. Good boy. Okay. So lifting their tail, why might we do that? When he goes to the groomer, he's going to have to get some sanitary clips up back there. Also, when he goes to the vet, they're going to have to lift his tail to check his temperature. Now he's focused on food. I'm going to come up towards his head, flip an ear back. Yes. Good boy. Back up towards his head. Yes. Good job, buddy. And now I'm not just going right in and grabbing that ear. I start by petting behind his head, and then I move to where I want to touch. Yes. So for that, I lifted his lip up. I know you can't tell very well in the camera there because he's facing me. But with him focused on food, just a gentle lift of the lip to get a look at those teeth. Next week, he'll hopefully let me get further and further inside of his mouth. But this week, it was just the basic of letting me in. Good boy, sir. All right. And now we're going to handle some paws, right? So he's focused on food. Yes. Good boy. Good job, Bubba. Reattach him to another piece. And then I'll slide down to that other paw. Yes. Good boy. Something else I'd like to mention, notice how I'm not using my clicker for this. It's a lot to have the clicker, the food, the handling. I will try to use my clicker when possible for body handling. Yes, but if I can't do that because I don't have a third hand, I will use my verbal reward marker. So for that, we're using yes. And as soon as I say it, same concept as that click. So I click or I say yes, and he gets a piece of food. It is a promise that food is following. Okay. You can charge your yes the same way that you do your clicker, just so that he gets used to doing both of them. Yeah, who's a good boy? Yes, good job. Get it. You know, what is that basket, huh? Final thing that we're going to work on today is going to be getting him dressed in his harness. Now this little petite boy, this harness swims on him a little. So he does struggle a little at first with the amount of extra space he has in the front. But that's why we do this. We want to get him used to having gear on and him being able to run around comfortably without worrying about what's on him. I'm going to set some food down. He's probably going to wiggle because he wants to go get that food. I know, sir. Once I have his legs through, I will set him down so that he can eat those snacks and then clasp him in. Good boy, Bubba. And then once we have our harness on, I'll go back into some movement exercises. Yeah, good boy. So attaching him to that food. He's doing a little spin. That's a fun behavior, right? I know you feel that extra stuff. Touch. Good. Get some hand targets. Touch. Good job, Clyde. Maybe we'll play that flying cookie game. Okay. Clyde. Yeah, good boy. He wanted to have like a little temper tantrum there when he tried to turn around. Yeah, just like that. Good boy. Okay. Clyde. Hey, bup, 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 bup. Are you still chewing? What happened? Oh, good boy. Yeah. You're still chewing. Was that a tougher piece? You turned towards me though. Thank you. Hey, what do I have? Yeah, forget that harness. Bup, bup. Yeah, good boy. All right. I'll let him play with his flirt pole while he has his harness on. That way he can, again, get that movement and not care. And then the final thing I just want to touch on, I want to remind you guys that you do get a complimentary Zoom with the program. So be sure to reference back to your confirmation email everything you need to know regarding booking your Zoom, including the Zoom discount, is found in that confirmation email. If you have any questions, you of course can email us, but you should have everything you need to get that scheduled. Yeah, good boy.